Oh.
South Florida's pretty far away.
Yep, it's really sunny and warm there too.
I know. We're going there for spring break for baseball.
Oh.
It's supposed to be 90 and like sunny.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. My name is Jamie. I work in the Greek Life Office. I'm the coordinator for Greek Council. So I advise IC and Panhandle, and I'm seeing all of the scholarship presentations.
My name's Rachel. I'm with Order of Omega.
Perfect. All right. So, this is just a little intro slide. So we're here to present our scholarship. We're the Beta Eta chapter. I'm Kerrigan Kane. I am a senior. I was the vice president, and now I'm the new member educator. And that's pretty much all about me.
I'm Nicholas Smith. I am a current junior right now, and I am also currently the vice president.
So basically, we'll start out scholarship in Sigma Chi. We're applying for excellence. We strive for excellence. We believe we have a lot of great things that we're going to show you today that we've been doing in the past couple of years, really, that cultivates this culture of scholarship. Basically, we believe that scholarship is more than just academic studies, GPA, but we're going to talk about that, but it goes further than that. There's lots you can do with that. In the ritual, our three core values are friendship, justice, and learning. Right there, right off the bat, there's scholarship. Learning, not just in school, you can learn about yourself. There's a lot of development that you can do just through our ritual that you learn about yourself in growing. And then also, even though it's secret, the ritual is an open place where you can relax, stress-free environment, be able to open up, and really kind of just learn about yourself and learn about others and use that as a tool for growth. And then in citizenship, it can go across boundaries, across these pillars. We'll talk about something later where we do tutoring at a nearby school, and that's an application of scholarship. Using your knowledge to help somebody else definitely applies in the scholarship pillar, but it reaches across that bounds, right? And then in terms of leadership, there's lots of things that you can do to be a leader, including being TAs or tutors, using your knowledge in that way. And then career development, we'll talk about this later. This is something new that we put in this year that really pushes our scholarship program forward, but we'll get into that. And then integrity is huge. In school, integrity is huge. Just being a good person, having good morals, high sense of honor, is definitely something that's very important to us. And I forgot to mention, but if you guys have any questions on this, please feel free. Like, this is completely open. If you have a question, don't save it till the end, because I know it gets hard to remember questions by the end. But yeah, so first off, just the academic side of us. So here's a little, I don't know, about 13, 14-year history of us. You can see in the past, we were right around a 3.0 GPA, and there was really no structured scholarship plan in place. It was kind of every man fight for himself, every man do best as he can with his abilities. It worked out. I mean, 3.0 is average, but we started seeing this trend about 5-6 years ago, where we really started grasping for better academics and really doing the best you can. And you can see that upward trend to where now for the past 4 years we've held about a 3.5 pretty consistently, which is amazing. Just being able to consistently stay that for the past 4 years is absolutely incredible, and I think that speaks to what we're going to talk about here, creating this culture of scholarship, being able to create this environment that really breeds doing well in the terms of academics. But we didn't really have, for this whole thing, we didn't have a scholarship program. And once we realized, like, hey, we're pretty good at this, but like other people have scholarship programs, how can this help us? And we've developed one over the past couple of years, and we're still working on it. It's not perfect or anything, which is why we've added some things in the past year. But I think it really helps us have some kind of backbone, something to rely on as we move forward.
So yeah, as Kerrigan was saying, before 2011, we had no plan in place. It was just everyone fight for themselves. Kind of, we would rely on brothers for resources and whatnot. I wasn't here, but that's what I heard. It's just people didn't really have a plan. But nowadays, we have this plan in place where we create this culture of scholarship. It's more like where we need to be good at this area and we need to rely on each other. It provides stability for all brothers. We can lean on each other. We have like interconnections within our fraternity of certain fields and stuff. Like I go to Kerrigan because he's an engineer. He took some of the same classes I did. I get advice from him. He is actually a tutor in thermodynamics, and it just helps to have all these brothers involved within your field, not just engineering, but other fields that have gone through the same things that help mentor you throughout the process. And here's the specifics of the scholarship program. Versus goals and brother expectations, we have requirements for GPA, especially for holding for officer positions is 2.8. For just being in a chapter, it's 2.5. If you have anything below 3.0, we start implementing some of our scholarship program, which is a peer tutoring program, and then we have also an incentive program for brothers who excel in scholarship or have improved the most. We offer a little reward system based off that. We'll talk about it more a little later. And we have a new scholarship room, which was more a storage facility, and now we added more to it. There's this thing called Beta 8 Base we'll talk about, and yeah, it's our scholarship room.
So kind of getting at this backbone that we have that kind of provides stability. So we have these goals. This has grown over the time. When we first made it, was have like a 3.5 GPA as a chapter, and we reached that. So we pushed it up, trying to always reach that high limit. Eventually, hopefully 4.0, but that's like the highest of the high, almost impossible. So we continue to strive further and further as we reach these goals and bump it up more every semester. And then also no brother below 2.8. And that kind of gets at, for this academic probation, anybody below a 2.8 is on academic probation. And basically that means if somebody's struggling in something, they meet with the scholarship chair monthly, so they kind of have resources to go to. And then there's this program I'll talk about in just a second called the peer tutoring program. They are paired with somebody in their same major that kind of serves as a guide for them, almost like a tutor that helps them kind of get back on path. Because everybody here is a good student. Like, you get in here, like, you're definitely a good student. But people have a hard time sometimes adjusting, or something happens. So it's just there to kind of help you get back on track. Excuse me, I've been getting sick. So this peer tutoring program that we have, it's very similar to a Big Brother program. You basically can be paired up with somebody older who's in the same field, same major, or some similarity. If you're on academic probation, you're required to have one. But now, basically, I'm a new member educator. We're starting it when you bring in a new member. We have an 8-week pledge process. They're paired up with an older brother, and that's basically, so they get their own Big Brother, which is completely different, but they get this peer tutor, so they kind of have a different relationship that they can serve towards just their academics. They can relate to them in different ways, kind of help them in that process. We'll talk about recruiting later, because that's definitely a huge part in kind of building this whole culture. Recruiting correctly definitely makes it a lot easier. But that's just the peer tutoring program.
Our incentive program is kind of a reward system. It's just to provide a little friendly competition when it comes to our GPAs. And 4.0 GPA, or most improved GPA, we award points for. If success in classes and other academic areas, such as like tutoring or TAing, we offer points for that as well. Brothers with the highest point totals get rewarded at the end of it.
And I think in this area, competition always really brings the best out of people. Even though you could think it get very aggressive, I think it brings out the best in our brothers. Everybody really strives to either have the most points or really go for that 4.0, and I think it shows by how we've done it over the past 4 years. It really pushes everybody to succeed.
And being in a big fraternity where athletics is involved,
Yeah.
competitiveness kind of just is natural in us,
Yeah.
so it's a good atmosphere.
So this is one of the new additions that kind of this growing scholarship program. Career development, obviously, you're in college, you're going to get a degree, and you have a full career ahead of you, and that's very important. So we made this online database that you can use kind of as a career development kind of pathway. Basically, on there's a couple spreadsheets. One of current brothers, their old co-ops, their old internships, contact information for those jobs, whether it be some manager or whoever was your supervisor. And then it also has current alumni, another spreadsheet with alumni, their jobs and their fields that they work in. It really opens up a lot of paths to be able to see, hey, I could look into here, and actually that has resulted in a higher number of brothers receiving positions that older brothers held, which is really, I think, an amazing thing in the fact that if you have a job and refer one of your brothers, you're able to get them a job because you know you believe in them and how hard they work and how well they could be an asset to the company. And then there's also resumes on that for younger brothers, because I know I came into college, I didn't have a resume. I wasn't ready for that. I had to do it all on my own and kind of go to the Career Center and get help on that. But those are there, kind of serve examples, give you a baseline, and kind of be like, hey, this is like a really well-polished resume. So definitely, this is something we're really proud of, brand new. I think it's working out well.
Just going off that too, I believe in your position at Alcoa.
Nova Solutions, yeah.
Yeah, and then one at Phillips with Ethan. They both referred brothers into their systems, into their positions, and I remember even during the process that the brothers were asking them about the job while they're on the job, they're already on the job, so they were asking how to do certain things, not necessarily at work, but outside of work, if they were helping them along. So I thought that was pretty cool. So our scholarship program, as I said earlier, it used to be a storage system. It was a mess. Things everywhere. But recently we cleaned it up, renovated it. We got a computer, a scanner, projector screen, and now it's a place of collaborative study. And not necessarily just Sigma Chi. We have obviously a lot of group projects, especially with engineers. I've seen many other people not involved in Sigma Chi at the house studying, working on group projects, working on presentations. And I just feel like it's created more of a atmosphere in the house of this is a room where we get stuff done, this is a room where we really strive to do well.
It's a nice place to get away from all the hustle and bustle of whatever's going on and creates that nice environment. So it's nice. And then, so here's the big thing where you want to keep this environment, keep this culture. Recruiting is huge. Finding the right new members that really fit in the system can help you grow even more. They play a huge part in the future of the chapter. So basically, when we go out and recruit, we have this minimum baseline in order to be a brother. It's called the Jordan Standard. It's listed over there. It's basically 7 qualities that we look for. And it says down here they have an average GPA of 3.15 over the past 10 years. So, we bring them in. They may not have the skills yet, but based on these qualities, we know that they can achieve it. And it shows because our GPA has been a 3.5. They succeed. They have the ability to succeed. We bring them in and kind of foster that and help them grow. That's the whole point of this 8-week pledge process. They learn about themselves, kind of develop, and then they come to the chapter and they're 100% ready. And they're also paired with a peer tutor, as I said, which I think really aids in that because they get, especially the first semester is huge because you get the freshmen that come in and really kind of don't know what they're getting into or questioning what's going on, what do I do for the next 4 years. I think it really helps in that aspect.
Also with the Jordan Standard, these are all hard to measure. If you notice, these are very hard to measure. And we don't try to put a measure on it. The way we look at it, because if you put a measure on it, you can kind of restrict anyone with a difference in individuality of some sort, because it's kind of like a bias thing if you think about it. But the way we think about it, if there's anyone that exhibits any sort of thing that would doubt any one of these, that's where. But like,
That's kind of how you measure it. You know,
so like if someone came in and said, you know, student favorability with Empress purchases, like, yeah, I don't really care about school, I'm just here to have fun, like, we don't really want that person.
as opposed to doing something like, all right, a man of good character, weighted on a scale of 1 to 5. That's
But
almost,
if someone's like, I'm really struggling with school, you know, need help with this, like, obviously, we reach out.
Sure.
So now, academics, like we succeed at, we do very well at. But there's a lot of other things that kind of still fall inside that social pillar. So this is the citizenship part of it, the Haley School tutoring. Nick will talk about it in a second. Great way to kind of help the community get involved that way and make an impact in a different way. And then faculty lunch and show appreciation. I mean, professors and faculty here do so much for us. I mean, we wouldn't be a university without them. We can't really do much without them. The career development, I already talked about. That's the whole Bay Data base thing where you're able to improve your life after college or just get co-ops or internships based on these great programs that we have in place. And then the ritual thing I already talked about. Open environment, stress relief, and then also learning about yourself, learning further, always striving to gain some kind of knowledge out of everything.
So for Haley School, just a little background, this is a charter school that was set up by our alumnus, his name is Rich Ronick, and it's down in Warrensville, about 10-15 minutes away from here. It's the ability for brothers to expand upon their knowledge outside of the classroom. They kind of get to see the other side of the coin. Like, we understand as K students that, you know, we're pretty fortunate in the position we are in, being in such a great institution, and that other people don't have the same, you know, fortunate situations as we do right now. And what has been great about Haley School, it's definitely one of our best service events. And what I've noticed, our alumnus Rich Ronick, who set this up, he actually had a heart condition this year, and so we couldn't set up Haley School until halfway through the year. But throughout the whole year, I kept getting questions: "When's Haley School coming up? When's Haley School coming up?" And it's not like just for service hours. Brothers generally get excited about this, and they really love the atmosphere. They love tutoring these little kids, and they have a good time with it. And it's really cool to see the growth of our brothers from like 2-3 years ago till now, how they really enjoy this experience to help these little kids learn.
And you get to see almost a direct impact out of it. Rachel, you from Ohio? So in Ohio, to graduate high school, you have to pass the OGTs. So for this school, they basically every year have to pass a test in order to go to the next grade. And these kids that we go on to tutor may not pass it, and that's like a huge opportunity that they're missing out on, that they don't get to move on to the next grade. And being able to have that impact, and maybe the kid in the next grade could really, like, something could click. Just being able to open up those opportunities for them, I think, is